Today's video is 10.2 surface area of cylinders. We have the TEKS listed and so are the objectives. The first thing we will do is identify the surface area of cylinders as the sum of the areas of faces, and we're going to use a net to show that. Then we will end with using the formula to find the surface area of a cylinder. Let's discuss some vocabulary before we begin. The first vocabulary term we have is surface area. And surface area is the entire outer covering of a three-dimensional figure, and it is calculated by the sum of the areas of each of the faces and bases of a solid. And we will discuss that in just a moment. The second term we have is cylinder. A cylinder is a three-dimensional figure with two congruent parallel circular bases and a curved flat surface connecting the bases. The third term is radius. And the radius is the measure of the distance halfway across a circle. And the last one we have is not actually a word, but it is a letter. It's a variable, and it's the letter H. In our formula, we will have the letter H because the H represents the height of the cylinder. You would know which number represents the height because it will be the number that is in between the two circles. Don't forget to label your answers with the units. Area units are squared, so that means your answer should have an exponent of 2 with the units. Here is a circle. Notice that it has two parallel congruent circular bases, and the face of the cylinder is one large rectangle. In fact, if you were to unwrap a cylinder, this is what it would look like. So to calculate the surface area of a cylinder using a net, we simply find the area of the two circles and the area of the rectangle, and we're going to add them together. So let's talk about the formula for the area of a circle. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. And because we have two circles or two bases, I'm going to put the number 2 in front of my formula. Listen, you can find the area of one circle if you want, and at the end multiply it by 2. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go through and let's replace the variable terms with a number. So I have 2, and then for pi we're going to use 3 and 1400ths, and the radius is 3, and we will square it. Next, the order of operations state that we have to do exponents first, so 3 squared is 9. I'm going to work from the back forward. So when I multiply 3.14 times 9, I get 28 and 2600ths. Actually, that is the area for just one circle. But when I multiply times 2, then I have 56 and 5200ths. Don't forget your units, which is inches, and we're talking about squared inches, so I have an exponent of 2. This is the area for both bases. And I like to write what my answer represents so that way I don't get confused. And that's what we just did. We found the area for both bases. Now we have to find the area for the rectangle. The length of the rectangle is the same as the circumference of the circle. Since the length of the rectangle wraps around the circle's rim, so the length is going around the rim of the circle, that means we need to use the circumference formula. And that formula for circumference is 2 pi r. And it's 2 pi r because radius is half the distance of the diameter, so we multiply it times 2. But if we were given the diameter, we don't have to use that formula. We can use pi times d. So we're going to use the circumference formula to find the area of the rectangle. So we're going to put an A for area, and I'm going to use 2 pi r, and we have to multiply that times the height of the rectangle. Now let's replace. So I have 3.14, and the radius is 3, the height is 5. I can multiply in any order that I want to multiply in, but I'm going to work from the back forward. And when I multiply 3.14 times 15, I get 47 and 1/10. And when I multiply those two together, I have the area is equal to 94 and 2/10. And don't forget your units, and we're talking about area, so I put a 2 for the exponent. Now I just combine the two. So I have 56 and 52 hundredths plus 94 and 2/10. Add them. And so my surface area is equal to 150 and 72 hundredths inches squared. Now, what if I were asked for the lateral? Remember, the lateral is the sides. Okay, so it's like the label if you want something to help you to remember what lateral is. But it's the size of your three-dimensional figure. When we calculated the area for the rectangle, we actually found the lateral. So if you were asked for the lateral, the 94 and 2/10 inches squared, that would be your lateral surface area, or the LSA. Finally, the formula for finding the surface area of a cylinder simply combines the formula for the area of a circle with the formula for finding the circumference of a circle, and we multiply that circumference times the height of the cylinder. So that is the formula that we have, which is surface area is equal to 2 times pi r squared plus 2 times pi r times h. And again, for the second piece, we're using the r because they gave us the radius. Had they given us the diameter, you don't have to use 2 times pi times r times h. You could simply use pi times d times h, and you would have the same answer. So let's replace the variables with numbers using 3.14 always for pi unless they tell us differently. The radius is 4. And the height is 8. The order of operations state that we must do exponents first. So 4 squared is 16. Because I have that plus sign, I can go ahead to the right side and I can work something on the right side. And I'm going to continue working from the back forward. So now I have 3.14 times 16, and when I multiply that, it is 50 and 24 hundredths, plus when I multiply 3 and 14 hundredths times 32, I get 100 and 48 hundredths. Then I have 2 times 50 decimal 24, which gets me 100 and 48 hundredths, plus 296 hundredths. Add it all together, my surface area is 301 and 44 hundredths. My units are centimeters. I'm talking about area, so I have to put an exponent of 2. That would be my total surface area. If I was looking for lateral, remember I would not do the front part. the bases, I would only do the second piece, which would be the area of the curved surface. Let us know if you have any questions, and you all have a great day.